Hey, hey. Hi, and hello there, lovies. Welcome back to Talks with Her. How y'all doing? Y'all all right? Now, listen. I know we've been getting into the heavy, okay? I know. And sometimes when you get into the heavy things, it feels even heavier as you're approaching the breakthrough. So, for any of you that are feeling like, oh my God, especially that last episode about, how these things show, like how these negative things show up in my life, I want to say to you that, first of all, I love you and that you are seen. I want you to know that you're not in this alone. I want you to know that, yes, we talked about sadness and how we mask and cover that up with strength and a performative nature and all those things, and that we have now revealed that we feel deep down inside that we're only lovable if we are doing something for it. Like we got to work for our love. I want you to know that it's okay that you feel that way. Now, I want you to also know that that's not true. You do not have to work for your love. You are amazing and perfectly you, just the way you are. Full stop. So I want to encourage you today. I want to encourage you to take that little bit of love with you. Write it down on something, mirror, wherever you're at, in the car, at work, at your desk, I don't know. But write it down somewhere. I am perfect just the way that I am. And if some jackass comes along trying to make you think otherwise than that today, tell them, well, I'm not going to tell y'all what to tell them, but you know what you could tell them. Tell them where to go, okay? Because today, just for today, I want you to see the words, I am perfect just as I am. Now, tomorrow you can take it down and do what you want, okay? But today, I want you to see those words. Why? Because you need to know that. And if nobody else tells you today, now I've told you. So that's somebody. Because last time I checked, I'm a real person. Okay. So I'm somebody. And so I told you. So that's somebody. Okay. Now, as we are working through this pain that we feel from having to be so goddamn strong all the time, so put together, so filled with answers, and secretly upset because we don't really feel seen. As we're working through those feelings, it's important to talk about what it's tied to. Now, if y'all recall, at the closing of our last episode, I told you that we're going to talk about something very, 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 very taboo. And that is mama trauma. Now, the reason why it's very taboo and, nobody really likes to talk about it is because there's a certain unspoken shame that comes with not having good feelings towards your mother, right? Even if you guys have a good relationship, every time you feel a sense of frustration, anger, disdain, there's always this little twinge of shame that makes you feel like, oh, okay, let me not see these feelings all the way through. So, because that happens, we get to this gray area. Let me call it that. We get to the gray area. And the gray area, it prohibits us from really being able to have real discussion and real conversation about this. But we're going to have it today, okay? Because this is a real thing. Now, let me start off by saying this. Mothers are human. They're people. And they're people first. So, what does that mean? Well, people are gonna people, right? So if you liken it to that, then it gives a different spin on it. See, in the book I talked about, how we find like this idea. We land in this place where we feel like, okay, mom should, could, would. Let's see, let me find it for y'all. So I'm going to read you a little passage in the book so that you understand where we're going here. As a daughter, you have a different fear. As you travel through your life, filling it with experiences and reactions, you need courage, aka the voice. While things are whirlwinding around you, you want to be able to control it. After all, no one wants to get onto a roller coaster with no harness or seatbelt. You have no idea what's going to happen on that ride. You want to know that things will be okay. You are not quite sure, and you may never be quite sure. You have a picture in your mind of how you would like things to be, but will they ever turn out that way? If they do, will it be the greatest thing ever? If they don't, will you be okay? Who knows? You certainly don't. What you do not need right now is doubt. Questioning makes you doubt. Suggestions make you doubt. And doubt gives birth to fear. While you experience these emotions, you just want to be understood, damn it. And if you are sharing these things with your mother, and you think instinctively she will understand you like no other. I mean, after all, she did give birth to you, right? So who better knows you or knows how to infuriate you with their apparent lack of understanding? Why is it so difficult to communicate and garner closeness with the one who should know you most? The answer is because of should. She should know you. You should understand why she is so insane. You should be able to communicate. There you go again with those reactions based upon your experiences. Perhaps consider this. Mothers are learning on the job, just like daughters. And perhaps the reason that your mother does not know how to properly communicate with you is because she does not know how to properly communicate, period. After all, she is a person too. Just like you, she has fears and anxieties. She gets embarrassed and confused and makes mistakes. Now I'm going to stop there because I want you to let that sit in. Now again, I know that it's taboo to talk about mama trauma, but I want to remind you that the reason that it's taboo to talk about mama trauma is because mothers are the givers of life, And because mothers are the givers of life, those of us that have been given the life, we place an expectation on them. We feel an organic need, and then we say, okay, this is what I need, mama. And then you just expect her to give it. That's the way that we're wired, right? God made us that way. Infants don't come out of the womb, fully talking and explaining what their needs are. They just cry, right? And instinctively, they know that mom, or they feel that mom will meet whatever need it is that they're expressing through their wailing. It doesn't always happen that way, because mom is a person too. And so those expectations that we put on her, sometimes she just doesn't have the skill or know these things. See, I can talk from both sides of the coin now, because I'm not just a daughter, I'm also a mother. And sometimes, as a mother, I get labeled as something because I'm expected to know or do or be, and I have no idea. Now, let me level with y'all. I am a mother of a man child, okay? So I really ain't got no damn idea. You feel me? Because we are not even biologically like the same. He's a man, I'm a woman. What? Okay? And so just like we are as mothers, we have mothers. And sometimes our mothers, they're not wired to know these things. So we go through some tough stuff. There absolutely are some mothers in the world that are hateful and jealous and evil and mean and spiteful and all of these negative feelings towards their daughters. And that doesn't get talked about enough. So those of you that are under the sound of my voice right now, that are the ones that are labeled as angry, the ones that are labeled as attitudinal or avoidant, aggressive, right? Those of you that, I don't have a lot of female friends. Okay, that might be because you and your mother have been at odds. See, there's no rule book that says that a mother has to be loving and she has to be, accepting and forgive. No, mothers can be disassociated. Mothers can be angry. Mothers can be evil. Mothers can be jealous. Mothers can be filled with negative spirits towards their daughters. So those of you that are listening to me today, and you know that your mother is filled with the negative spirit towards you, I hope this helps you, but it's not you. It's not you. Even if you did something, it's not you. See, your mother is just filled with that spirit because that's on her. That's who she is. It's not you. Doesn't have anything to do with you. All that you can control is you. Now, if you're out here doing the wrong thing and doing the bad thing, and you've done some wrong things and some bad things to your mother, check yourself. Get your shit together, because you know you're wrong and you're out of pocket. But I want to release you from carrying around that pain, that anger, that shame, however it's showing up in your life, because it's showing up. It's showing up in your relationships with men. It's showing up in your relationships with other women, like friendships. It's showing up on your job. It's showing up at the grocery store, in the bank. It's showing up. It's showing up. That sadness that you feel because your mom is not what you need her to be is showing up in your life. So hopefully you hear me say to you, it's not you. It's not you. I want you to make it up in your mind today to start working towards releasing that shame, releasing that pain. It's not you. It's her. It's in her. And there is nothing that you can do. Remember, we talked about performative nature. There's nothing that you can do, and there's nothing that you cannot do to change any of that. She has to make up in her mind that she wants to change the way that she feels and the way that she interacts in the world, and especially with you. There is nothing that you can do to perform for her love. So stop. Stop. Because you are worth more than running after someone's affection and their attention and their love and their acceptance and their understanding all of your life. You are worth more than that. Now, on the flip side of things, everybody's mama ain't evil. Everybody's mama is not filled with negativity. I just wanted to address those that are dealing with that first, because that is mama trauma. But you know what? It doesn't have to be to that extreme to be mama trauma. See, mama trauma can also be just always being or always finding yourself at points of contention with your mother, right? Just down throughout your life, you just always, seems like sometimes your biggest opponent in life is your mother. You guys just don't see eye to eye. She's not necessarily evil, and you're not necessarily evil. You all just have different ways that you see the world. I need you to stop and just accept that. Say it out loud to yourself if you have to. I love my mom, but we just see the world differently. See, that doesn't make her bad, doesn't make you bad. She sees the world based upon her experiences. And so do you. Which one of y'all is right? Which one of y'all is wrong? Neither and neither, okay? So the truth of the matter is, the key to navigating through that and getting to a place of grace is just to start working to understand her. I talked about that in the book too, by the way. But you just gotta work to understand her. And she has to have a willingness to work to understand you. Now, does that mean that either one of you are gonna like everything that you understand? Hell no. Hell no. But how do you navigate through mama trauma and issues with your mother? Well, if she is not like, and I mean for real, y'all, if she's not evil, and I mean for real evil, okay? If she's not evil, but you guys just don't get along, you know, your quirks just make you different, you don't really want to be close to her because you don't feel safe with her. Well, you don't feel safe with her because she doesn't understand you. And she likely, because she doesn't understand, she doesn't accept you, right? And she's unwilling to admit that because as mothers, she thinks that that is a sense of failure, that she doesn't understand you. And so she's not even trying to see or trying to go further in that to know that she doesn't really accept you. But truthfully speaking, that's the basis of your problem, is that your mom does not understand and accept you. So whether you are running after her affection, her love, her validation, her anything, the root cause there is because you do not feel understood and accepted by her. Now, unfortunately, she may not have the capacity to understand and accept you. That likely would be due to her own limitations. Has nothing to do with you. This is just what her life experience has landed her on. This is the place that she's landed on. It doesn't make you any less you. Go back to the beginning. Rewind this back all the way to the beginning of this episode. What did I say that you are? Perfect, just as you are. That does not, your mother not understanding you, your mother not accepting you, doesn't make that truth any less so. That is the truth. You are perfect just the way that you are. Now, she also, now again, this is only if she's not purely evil, okay? She also has her ideas about things. Her ideas about things and your ideas about things might not line up. And that's all right. That's all right. Because your ideas about her probably don't line up either. But the truth of the matter is, you can work to a place of understanding and acceptance. But just like I pointed you to in the book, it's important for you to first identify and then further develop your voice. Because until you identify your voice, you are not going to be able to articulate the real desires of your heart. Something is going to trip you up along the way. Something is going to leave you feeling a sense of either fear, trepidation, void, something. Something is going to hinder you from being able to transparently articulate the truest desires of your heart. And your inability to do that is what is presenting the challenge between you and your mother. Doesn't mean that it's your fault. Equally so, she has to also have the ability to develop and use her voice. See, so it's not on you. It's definitely not. But you are responsible for your happiness. So the health and wealth of the relationship between you and your mother is not your responsibility. It's not. Period. It's a pause. Full stop. It's not a pause, excuse me. It's a full stop. It's not your responsibility. What is your responsibility is to use your voice. And spoiler alert, you're supposed to be using your voice with everybody, not just your mama. Okay? But I digress. Now, do you have the right to be understood and accepted by your mother? Here's where we get into matters of opinion, because the truth of the matter is that there's no written rule book for that answer. Do you have the right to be understood and accepted by your mother? If you feel like you do, then you do. If you feel like, you know what, I don't have that right, she just doesn't understand me, she's not going to understand me, she's not going to accept me, that's fine. Okay. Those are likely those of you that, mom is tipping on the evil side. So, yeah, okay. You have said, you know what, shut it down. I stand with you. Shut it down. Shut it down. Now, personally, my feeling is, yes, you have the right to be understood and accepted by your mother. Yes. See, here's my perspective on this. Your mother made a conscious decision to give birth to you. And when you make a conscious decision to give birth, then you are making a conscious decision to bring the life through you. Okay? So the person has that being, that child, namely, in this particular instance, that child is you, right? But that child has the right to feel understood and accepted. So do you have the right? It's a primal need. All beings need that. So do you have that right to feel that from your mother? In my opinion, yes, you do. Now the problem is that you perhaps haven't identified yet that that's the missing piece. See, that's why you're angry. Again, that's why it's showing up at work and in your relationships and all this, is because you don't feel, you just don't feel accepted and understood by her. You got to tell her. You got to tell her where she's short at. Just as I explained in the book, you're going to have to use your voice, and you got to tell her what you need. Now, I've had to do this, and I will share with you my experience. It took me quite some time to really perfect my delivery. Because at first, I was going into it telling her what she needed to do, telling my mother what she, you need to be this and you ain't this and you ain't that. And that didn't work because, again, just as I am a being made up of my experiences, so is she. And so she received my words as like attack, and rightfully so, because the truth of the matter is that it was an attack because it was based out of anger. Because remember that performative nature, that distrust and that shrinking myself, and that we'll call it a cape. Remember that cape of being labeled as so strong? So it came out as anger because that cape of being labeled as so strong, the cape was on my back. And so because I was, so strong, I thought that, I had to communicate, with her strongly, and I was going to defend myself or stand up for myself and do so. But I was missing the key component, which was understanding and acceptance for her as well. See, I had to learn that she is a person too. And she needed my understanding and acceptance. So once I was able to identify that, I was able to let go of the super strong cape, which was translating with anger and strength, because that's how you communicate when you're super strong, right? You communicate that's why people label you as combative, because you communicate with a sense of boldness and power. So, assertiveness, and so people label you as combative. So once I was able to take that cape off and just understand that she's a person too, and she needed the same things I needed. She needed acceptance and understanding. Then I was able to use my voice properly. See, when you use your voice from a place of anger, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to use your voice from a place of sadness, which takes that sadness, that same sadness that has been weaponized, that same sadness that we have always looked at as negative, it takes it and now it turns it into something positive. Because we're able to take that sadness and use it to actually articulate what our real needs are, okay? And so that is what I want you to hear me say. I'm going to say it again because it's important. See, we have utilized our sadness as something that is painful, and thus it expresses a negative emotion. But the truth of the matter is, the more you exercise using your voice, that sadness will actually start to turn into your power. Because now you're not articulating and communicating from a space of anger. You are articulating and communicating from a space of sadness. And that sadness allows you to be vulnerable. Because it taps into what your real needs are. You know that voice deep down inside, that little girl that lives inside you, the little you that lives inside of you. See, that's her voice. Her voice is the sadness. And so when you are able to utilize sadness as a power and not as a weapon, now you can really use your voice, because now you understand how to communicate from a place of grace. And that, my dear lovies, is what mom needs from you and what you need from her. If she's not yet in the space to give it to you, accept that. Accept that. It doesn't mean that it will always be that way. It means accept that she's not in the space to give that to you right now. But it doesn't make you any less perfect. So open yourself up to receiving it from other sources, because you deserve that. It doesn't go to say that the mama trauma will get better. It doesn't go to say that if it gets better, it's going to stay better. Because, mamas will re-traumatize you, okay? That does go down. That's a real thing. But what it does go to say is that you have learned about grace. So now you can start learning how to give that grace to yourself, because that's what's needed. Now, while you're on this journey to do so, then your next point of contact after mama is always going to be daddy. So, our next time together, we gonna talk about daddy and what to do with daddy. Okay? So until then, I want to leave you with this. Yes, mom needs your understanding and your acceptance, but you also need mom's understanding and acceptance, and you deserve that. So if she doesn't tell you today, I'm going to tell you. You are loved and you are perfect just the way that you are. Okay? So, I just want to leave you with that. Now, until next time, lovies, I love you, but not as much as you should love yourselves. Now go be great.